its title is Raising Cabbage Patch Kids During a Recession. God forbid a depression. Judging from the wonderful turnout this evening, it is safe to say that I am not the only parent of Cabbage Patch children who is concerned with the direction in which our country, nay the world, is heading. We wade in a sea of fiscal misery that is riddled with the corpses of failed banks. We are tossed like so many rag dolls by waves of bankruptcy and foreclosure. The job gods are displeased, and axes sharp and ready, they exact their wrath with brutal efficiency. Never before, except for when it was the case, have Americans been tested to such extremes. In a world gone mad, how are we, as parents, concerned parents of Cabbage Patch Kids, to weather this storm and find ourselves happy, healthy, and safe on the shore of sanity? Consider these few tips I have compiled as the life vest that will keep you afloat until this time of great tumult has elapsed. Never let your Cabbage Patch Kid know you are poor. Nothing breaks the peace of my heart reserved for my dealings with Cabbage Patch Kids more than denying Darnell, Christopher, and Bartholomew even their most pedestrian of requests. However, with money in short supply, we are forced to make some difficult decisions when it comes to our spending. We cannot risk the financial future of the family by giving in to every demand that our children dream up, so we must be Thank you. So, we must be creative. She's giving me wine. It's pretty awesome. So, we must be creative. So, we must be creative in the ways we deny them. While Darnell might claim that he needs a private zoo, we must firmly, yet kindly, explain that private zoos are for shahs and eccentrics. We can also gently tell him in a condescending tone that the last time we checked, he was neither a shah nor an eccentric. Sorry. I like to add at the end that when he grows up and procures his own shahdom or adopts slightly endearing antisocial behavior, he can have all of the private zoos he wants. Notice how we have deterred the child from his desires, yet we have not admitted that we are poor. Warning to those easily swayed by childish emotionalism, upon being denied, your Cabbage Patch Kid will likely give you a cold, dead, seemingly endless stare. When confronted with this, it is important to remember that you are the parent, you are in charge, and you are impervious to the manipulations of the child. Cabbage Patch Kids can survive with little to no food and water. Nothing is more important to human parents than the health and nutrition of their human child. As parents of dolls, we are slightly less concerned. Our children do not cry out for morsels like their human counterparts. They are stoic by nature, a trait no doubt picked up at their short-lived stay in that unforgiving Cabbage Patch. As the parent of a preemie Cabbage Patch Kid, I confess I was worried when Darnell stared for 2 days at the ants on a log I had made him without taking a bite. But after some research, I learned that this is common behavior for a Cabbage Patch Kid. And so I have saved a great deal of money by replacing the ants on a log with a daily bowl of highly discounted douche. Darnell doesn't know the difference, and the dollar store is pleased to see the douche flying off the racks. And of course I am pleased, having pleased both Darnell and the dollar store. Wait for sunnier times to tell them that they're adopted. With times dark and getting darker, I find that it is not the most opportune time to notify the Cabbage Patch Kid of their origins. As much as your Cabbage Patch Kid might pry into the reason for the Xavier Roberts tattoo on his rear, it is best to withhold the truth. Make up a story as to why they have the tattoo. Better yet, get the tattoo yourself, showing your children that they are not odd or different for having it. With the world falling apart around us, it is unnecessary to exacerbate any identity crisis that the child will no doubt eventually have. Do not abandon your Cabbage Patch Kid! Some of us are old enough to remember the initial rise and fall of the Cabbage Patch Kid in the 1980s. Akin to the African adoption craze of late, the Cabbage Patch Kid quickly became the baby to have. Xavier Roberts simply made it too easy to adopt. There were no background checks to ensure that the child would be cared for in the long term. The most bratty, spoiled, and irresponsible members of the human race hoarded these children as if they were things to be collected. Naturally, the joy and the reward of parenting soon wore off, and these children were abandoned, generally in the basements of the grandparents. It is said that if you listen closely on a quiet night in the suburbs, you can hear the pained screams of countless Cabbage Patch Kids howling for the love of their deadbeat mom and or dad. In these dire times, we can scarcely afford another grand abandonment like the 80s. With millions already parentless, it must be our collective goal to see that this number goes down and not up. And in closing, what better to bring a family closer than a recession? Do not let this time of uncertainty pass without taking the chance to learn from it. In the frenzy of this complicated world, we often lose sight of what really counts. Make no mistake, the bond that you have with your Cabbage Patch Kid is forever. You are the sole source of love in that child's life. If you are a wayward parent who has ignored their child for years, I say to you this: it is never too late to reconnect. I lost it. It was so dramatic, and then I lost. It is never too late to reconnect. It is as simple as dusting off that box that you so cruelly deposited your child in those many years ago. Inside, you will find the same smiling face you left there. He or she will hold no ill will. They will welcome you back with their signature open arms. Even if you are at your lowest, the hug you share with that old friend could possibly spark a remembrance of a simpler time. And with that remembrance, you will once again be open to all of the wonder that you had access to as a child. And that is something that no recession or predatory lender can ever take away from you. Farewell.